Now, that is Moses. Okay, so you are about to start on the
Yes.
implementation. So when are you going to have something to show? Dashil, you need to desist from sending chats that are not related to the class, because I believe you know the schedule for the class. So if it is something that is not related to class, please don't share it here because it is not relevant. So please, let's only share chats that are relevant to the class, not anything that is outside the class.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
Okay, so I believe we have exhausted those who wanted to share with us their progress in terms of project schedule, practitioner statement, and the implementation, where we are talking of the toolkit that you're going to adopt. So the remaining time, I'm just going to give you some help in terms of implementation, because the majority Okay, now we are going to wrap up with just more explanation in terms of those three items, because those three items are going to be the core of your development in terms of the process and also the practical bit. So in terms of the project plan, I think this is going to answer you, James, where you are asking whether you're asking to clarify the requirement of a working schedule and a project schedule, and whether that means the use of planned vis-a-vis the actual date for start and the finish. So to start with the project plan, try to look at The time that you've been given, is a resource. And that resource, if you don't use it, if you don't plan for it, then it will slip out of your hands and you'll not be able to salvage it. And that's why we are saying that planning is very, very important. Don't take it as a hindrance to doing your work. It actually helps you to check whether you'll be able to complete the work in a record time. It is not there just for as a formality, but it's there to help you gauge your work, try to check whether you are able to finish within time.
Yeah, sorry, I was just, it was because I'm going off this Unit 11 document.
Okay.
You can see it.
Yeah.
So it says the working schedule should include planned start and end dates. But if you submit a schedule that does not clearly demonstrate that it has been working document, so how do you define that? Because when you, that could mean a few things. So I'm guessing it means by the planned and the actual start and finish dates that you show that that's been done.
Yes. So for it to show that it's a working document, then you have two columns, you have two groups of dates. You have the planned and the actual.
Yeah.
So it's a working because at a start, you already have all the dates for planned column.
Yeah.
So you'll have a start and the end date for everything that you're going to do in terms of your product development. But as you progress, you keep now adjusting the column for the actual dates.
Yeah.
But from the word go, you already have a working schedule.
Yeah. That's fine. I just wanted to clarify because I wasn't sure exactly what they meant from that. But
Yeah,
if that's all it is, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's why when we are doing the assessment, for example, we are checking whether you have a project plan with the refinement, with ongoing refinement, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I say that during your mid-module assessment, I realized that you had a project plan in place, but it has an ongoing refinement. So it doesn't mean that you already have a final document, but you have something that is going to help you complete the project.
Yeah.
And that is on the, if you are talking of the two section, the planned and the actual columns. So on the planned columns, it should be full up. It should be complete. It should be having all the dates up to the end date. But as you work on your product, you'll keep on ticking off, saying that this one is now complete. But when did you complete it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it means, that it is a working document.
Okay.
And the date should not be the same. So basically, you can say that by next week I should be through. I will be through with my evaluation, but come next week, you realize that you are still doing some coding and you can't start doing evaluation of something that is not complete. As much as you have put the dates, yeah, you don't need to alter the dates for the planned action, but now you'll put the actual dates when you started the evaluation and the finish date when the evaluation was completed.
Okay. What about the Gantt chart? Because I've created that, but that's just per week. It doesn't have the start or end dates. Does the Gantt chart have to reflect the actual or the planned?
Maybe you can just come on again.
I'm saying, so let me share if I can find it.
All right.
So I created in my schedule,
Right.
I'll open it. Let me just open it 1 minute. New share. So obviously this is the schedule, but it's the same as the one in the Word document. It's just how I've done it in here in
Okay.
Excel. But then I've got this Gantt chart.
Yes.
So you see it doesn't have the actual start and finish dates. It just has the hours allocation in the, so you can see how much is per week, if you can read that.
Okay.
So does this need to reflect the actual or the planned?
This should show the actual.
Actual, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, the Gantt chart will now show the final. You will show now the final project schedule,
Okay.
and that project schedule should reflect the actual dates.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to check how you had planned before, then we go to the project plan and check the planned dates vis-a-vis the actual dates.
Okay.
But there's no harm if you want to create two of them, which I don't think is necessary. But if you want to go ahead and create two, there's no problem.
Yeah, it might be easier just to do a planned and an actual one.
Yeah, you can still go ahead, but you can now talk of Gantt chart for actual dates. For the actual dates, you can just say into bracket actual dates.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then in terms of probably you 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 can just show it again.
1 sec.
The Gantt chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk of project documentation, we have now the activities initial documentation. You are saying that the effort was 8 hours, right? But for how many weeks did it?
It
For how many
was on
weeks?
the first, so you can see it's scheduled per week.
Initial documentation, how many weeks?
It's only this is the hours. These are all the hours. These are the weeks. Yeah. So it's just so that you can see. So for example, if you were allocated 40 hours per week to your project, then when all the tasks add up, they shouldn't go over 40 hours. So if you're going 60 hours in 1 week, then you have a problem with your task allocation, don't you? So you need to split these out across your allocated weeks so that you have enough time each week to do the work you've allocated yourself. So this one, week one, the initial, that was, so I would say this was the requirement specification document, because obviously that goes with that. And then you can't sign, the initial documentation has to be created before you approve it, which is in that week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's correct. But now when you come to database development, I'm seeing you did creation of administrative in the first week, and you did.
That's just to get everything know that I'm going to use it. I mean, I could push it to the next week, that's fine. I just thought it can run concurrently.
Okay, because I'm assuming that at that moment, you're still not sure about the tools that you're going to use because you have to consult with the client that those are the tools that you're going to use. So if you are already created you already installed your database, then it means you had a predefined plan. So you can push them to the second week after the signing of the requirement specification.
Okay.
Yes. So everything should come after the approval of the requirement specification.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, then you just move ahead because okay, now project documentation, yeah, okay, the sign off, yeah, that is done perfectly well. I agree, but there are some things that you will be refining. Final documentation. All right, let me see. There are some things that you'll be doing concurrently, so I need to also see them, and there will be those items that span more than a week, so I need to also see that.
Yeah.
As much
Well,
as,
there's
yeah, so you'll find that.
For example, these are concurrent. So some database and some the wireframe.
Yeah.
The website is over 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But it's because I've broken down the task of designing the website into sort of specific tasks, so
Okay.
they're not all in one big task, because otherwise you'd probably say they need to be broken down.
Okay.
But I've tried to do them across where necessary.
Yes.
So like here, test cases and testing maybe.
Yes. Yeah. In terms of testing, you remember you can do testing from the time you started website development. You do the test. So,
Yes,
but you
yeah, I need
don't
to.
have.
I need, because I chose the agile methodology. So I was going to move some of the testing maybe an hour further back here, and then just split it again.
Yes.
So it's done during each
Yeah.
time rather than all at the end.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, because with the agile, you do those tasks. Just you don't take. Yeah, you don't wait up to the end of it. You like
Yeah,
do something and go back. You do some tests, evaluate with the client, get some feedback. Then the feedback helps you to move to the next step.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good. So I believe your questions are answered.
Yeah, it was just really for the what define the working document, but if it's the planned and actual, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. All right. Then I wanted also to take this opportunity just to, so I've talked about the project plan and just what we've shared, James has shared. Please try to learn from this. If you are stuck somewhere, you don't have to use somebody's approach. Here you have to be unique, but at the same time you need to be relevant. So as much as you want to be unique, you have to be relevant. You have to, it has to be relevant to the software development lifecycle and the tools that are used and the conventions that are there. Okay, then there is the practitioner statement. Yeah, practitioner statement. I think there are some rules that were given there that we need to be worried about. Let me just share this. Yeah, so we'll keep reminding ourselves because we may assume and yeah, so I believe you are able to see this project plan, providing a time scale and effort allocation to generate proposed deliverables. Yeah, so all these are very important in terms of must have TOR as basis for planning, must cover all phases of the project, must break down the work into manageable tasks, should have a clear deliverable. So any task must have a deliverable. Then exploiting parallelism. So this is what I was trying to extract from James, and I could see James had taken care of it so that you maximize the time that you have. Then there is resourcing appropriate to the nature of tasks. So I've not checked this keenly, but the hours that you've allocated, depending on the methodology that you have used, this will come into play. Then must show evidence of use to manage project. Here you have plan versus the actual date. Then language must embody all approaches, tools, and techniques you are using. And that one, I don't think if there's a problem with it. Most of you have used the language that are relevant to the tools or the toolkit, your toolkit, basically. Then now we have the practitioner statement. This is what also I wanted us to. Let's always refer to these documents as we work on, as we move along with our development. So this document, practitioner statement, is central to your e-portfolio. You'll describe in detail the systematic development of your solution as embodied in your planning documentation. So in planning project delivery, your schedule will show in its structure and language all the methods, approaches, and tools and techniques that you're using. So the purpose of your practitioner statement is to explain and justify to your client everything that was built in your planning documentation. Everything that you chose to do and implement as a practitioner. A practitioner is a professional, is somebody who is knowledgeable in that area. Should also be written in past tense because the project will be completed. And it will have to justify. Now, this word, let me just make it. This one is very, very important. It will justify the methods adopted, or explain why any changes were implemented. Okay, James is asking whether it's written in first person is correct. I think there's no problem with that, even if you say the project was implemented or I did this. But professionally, it's not good to say I. You can still say it was done, it was implemented, but there's no problem in terms of saying whether you did it by saying I did this, then I did this, instead of saying this was done. Okay, so I think you got it, James. But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so you can choose whichever way, but I would propose you don't necessarily have to say I did this, then I did this. Just say this was done. For example, the setup of the Oracle database was done to give way for the database design, to start the database design. After the database design, then I started writing the code to connect. No, you don't say I started. A code was written to connect the database management software with the application. Yeah, so you can still report it in that way, so that it doesn't, you don't repeat yourself. I did this. Yeah, but you just report what was basically done. So again, we have here yeah, there's no harm even if you write I did this, I did this. There's no harm in that. I don't think if it has been, but professionally, let it be silent. We know you are the one who is doing this. Yeah, but it can be silent. Okay. Yeah, so you can just report that this was done, this was chosen because of 1, 2, 3, and things like that. Yeah, in your, for example, you can say XAMPP stack was selected as the implementation platform because it has all the required software